So you just have a wall of all the goods, and as you take it out, another one slips into place because it's all back-ended around the backside of the...
Chris,
kind of like you
we're
have
talking about vending machines. We've invented the vending machines, haven't we? Yeah.
Mega vending machine, convenience store, make it happen.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to the Abroad Japan podcast. Probably the best way of learning about life in Japan without actually being in Japan. I'm your host, Chris Broad. We're joined as always by England's top Japan enthusiast, Mr. Pete Donaldson. Pete, how the devil are you doing? What's going on?
I'm good, Chris. I am absolutely petrified of earthquakes now, thank you to your documentary you just busted out on
about
your
volcanoes,
YouTube.
you mean?
Sorry, no. Well, earthquakes that lead to volcanoes. I think that's the issue.
Really?
That one that's in Hokkaido, that basically the earthquake starts deep underground and then suddenly the problems do start from there.
It's like talking to my mum. She's like, I love that cycle you did across Japan. That was really good, the last video. I'm like, that was 8 years ago.
6:30 in the morning, Christopher.
To be fair, I've called this the earthquake documentary every single day for the last 6 months.
Yes,
it's about volcanoes, yeah. Bloody volcanoes. They're not as exciting as earthquakes, are they? But we did survive. I'm drinking. This is the Tully's Kilimanjaro blend today. You know, it's Kilimanjaro because it's blue. It's the premium brand. It's slightly less bitter and certainly a bit more flavourful. Also less caffeine, 10, 15 milligrams less caffeine.
Smoother.
But I'm drinking the smooth drink because we survived the apocalypse that was due on July 5th, Saturday. We're through it. We got through. Stupid prophetic book that prophesied the destruction of Japan. It was wrong. Yeah, we survived.
Yes,
Kilimanjaro.
Didn't they? So there was that manga artist, I think, that did. We did it on this show a few weeks ago. That predicted that the world was going to end, or Japan was going to experience a massive earthquake situation out there, and it turned out that it didn't happen. Although there was a small earthquake, I think, off the coast of Kyushu, I think, and they're trying to say that it was actually true, bearing in mind that earthquakes happen all the bloody time in Japan.
It's bollocks. What's interesting is the effect it had, right? This is the book, if you missed the podcast a few weeks ago, I read, it was a book called Watashi ga Mita Mirai, The Future I Saw, and it came out in the late 90s. Writer said they witnessed in their dreams the destruction of Japan via an earthquake, and they claim to have got the one correct in Tohoku in 2011. There is some debate around that, but it had a real effect, didn't it? There was like the more spiritual side of the world. Here in Asia, folks from Hong Kong and China didn't book their flights. They cancelled flights. They avoided planes. So tourist numbers took a slight dip, and also like even just friends here I know took extra precautions. One guy, a friend of mine, he bought like a backup generator out of fear of the worst possible thing happening. It's good to be prepared, but it's interesting that a sort of a novel is the means that led to him buying it. Yeah.
Imagine having that power, though. Most manga artists would only dream of that kind of predictive power and kind of interest in your work. Goodness.
Imagine I could write The Future I Saw, a future of less cheese, a future of less fried chicken and coolish. There'll be a run on Family Mart chicken sales.
Yeah, I mean, as a man who's consistently at the moment writing another book, you would love the predictive power to predict when you're going to finish writing the book. One would suggest.
The future I saw. I missed the penguin deadline again.
I missed the deadline.
Oh, fuck.
It's not
They're not
coming
happy.
out.
They're not happy. And rightly so.
No.
It's no trivial matter. Well, yeah, the penguins are angry. They will chew, they will bite at you. They will come at you with a knife.
There's a lot of emails about fish. It's just very confusing.
It's not a trivial matter to not fulfill a deadline. So if you're listening to this, always make the deadlines. Just do your best.
If you're ever writing if you're ever writing the follow-up to a best-selling book, which is very rare that anybody who's listening is going to be experiencing that. But I have to say, the penguins want you to finish the book, and there's just not enough hours in the day, I imagine.
It's not. It's hard work writing a book. You've got to think a lot. I've started doing this thing. I've got a new TV screen here in the studio, like a 62, 65-inch monster, and I put it in front of me, and I put on, like, the prefecture that I'm writing about, I'll put on, like, a cinematic 8K drone video.
Oh, nice.
I've been writing about Iwate the last few days, and I had, like, Iwate up on the screen in front of me. So it's like I was transported there out of the humid, ridiculous heat of Tokyo, which is having some sort of heat warning at the moment. I saw a map this morning of, like, air pollution, and I'm going to die. As an asthmatic, it's like pure blood red on my... It's like, oh, Sendai, the meadows of Narnia, Yamagata, the world of fucking heaven itself on Earth incarnate. Tokyo, underworld, death, red, despair, sulfuric acid. Literally, the volcanoes I witnessed in the documentary are safer than the stupid streets of Tokyo at the moment. It's so bad, man. You go outside, you feel it in the air. You feel the dirt, the dust, the grime.
I've had a bad year with my asthma. I imagine that if I went to Japan, I'd be in all kinds of trouble because it just hits you like a ton of bricks some weeks.
Yeah, it's like being strangled by a ghost. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. But yeah,
Right
bear that in
about
mind
that.
if you come to Tokyo. And as for if you haven't seen it, do check out the volcano documentary. Pete watched it. He loved it. It's all about earthquakes.
I went back this morning and watched it again. Well,
That's right.
10 minutes anyway.
What was your favourite bit?
I'm just fascinated by those sort of channels that they've those walls that they've erected to sort of basically move the magma around. It's like, is that going to work? Because like magma's like hot rocks, isn't it? And you're touching like a rock that isn't hot. That rock's going to get hot. I'm just confused and scared.
It'd probably be good for directing magma flow, but like a pyroclastic flow can't really be stopped. I don't know if you saw that the last bit of the documentary. Went to Mount Unzen, which is the deadliest volcano in Japan. It had the 7th deadliest eruption in history, and it's not entirely its fault. It collapsed into the sea of the Ariake Bay and created a mega tsunami that hit Kumamoto head on. It's like a fucking volcano collapsed, or one part of it collapsed, triggered a mega tsunami and left 10,000 people dead in the plains of Kumamoto back in, I think, 1792. And then in 1991, 1992, it erupted again, and all the journalists were like, let's film it, let's get really close. And then the lava dome at the top, which is like when the top of the volcano sort of protrudes out, right, all that magma sort of builds up all that pressure, it exploded, and a superheated cloud of ash roared down the mountain 400, 500 miles per hour, and unfortunately killed dozens of media folks and journalists, including Katia and Maurice Kraft, the foremost sort of volcanologists and filmmakers of their time. And if you get the chance, I think it's Fire of Love, the documentary. There's a few documentaries on them. Herner Herzog did a really good one on them, and it's just shows their work, and it's absolutely astonishing. They were a bit mental. They did get like a meter from like a flowing bit of lava gushing like a river.
Quite a rare experience to die via lava in these days, I would say.
And they didn't. And it was Unzen, which nobody thought would be as dangerous as it was. So, nobody predicted that the pyroclastic flow would barrel down the mountain as the way it did. But they sort of inspired me to want to go and make this whole documentary in the first place. I'm pretty happy with it. Of course, it didn't do that well because it's quite a niche topic, and most people don't wake up and go, I want to learn about volcanoes. They want to go, I want to see Chris and Connor eat a sandwich and die. And so it's nice to do something that I really wanted to do, a project that I'm proud of, and take my hat off to Marcus, the editor, who edited like 95% of it. I came in and did the opening, he did the rest. But yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it on the YouTube. It's good stuff.
Speaking of sandwiches, Chris, have you seen that Marks and Spencer's here in good old Blighty have started doing the strawberry and cream sandwich?
Have they?
They've started doing the strawberry and cream sando, and I have had 3 over my holiday of the last week and a half. I've had 3 in about 2 or 3 days, and
oh my God.
They are, because I've never had one of those strawberries and cream sandwiches
from
Japan.
You don't need to.
You don't need to.
They're not good, man.
And so, the Marks and Spencer's one, like my partner hated it. My daughter loved it. I very much have the tastes of a 2-year-old girl, and it's absolutely
Family
lovely.
bonding
So I
moment.
cannot stop eating these Japanese sandos from Marks and Spencer's.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
You're mad. No, they're not good. It tastes wrong. There's something wrong about having all that sweetness in a sandwich. But
I think the bread needed to be a bit more brioche, one would suggest, because it just feels
harder.
like
Keep
normal, mighty white.
yeah, absolutely. Did you see Trump referred to? And this is a sort of sub news story that America's talking about putting 25% tariffs on Japan. He referred to the Prime Minister of Japan, Ishiba, as Mr. Japan. He was Mr. Japan. I love that. It's like Tim Apple, Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. He referred to as Tim Apple, Mr. Apple. Japan by Mr. America. Fucking love it. Good stuff.
It sounds very much like either a wrestler or a manga character. Mr. Japan is listening. Like it sounds. There must be a superhero called, Japan-san or something.
It reminds me of Mr. Baseball. Do you ever see that film or hear about it? Mr. Baseball.
No.
Go and look it up. That's a Pete Donaldson special. It's starring Tom Selleck, and he plays like an American baseball player who comes to Japan. And the tagline, his name is like Mr. Baseballer, and the tagline is, "He's the biggest thing to hit Japan since Godzilla." That's the fucking tagline. Mr. Baseball from Mr. Japan.
Reminds me of the song "Mr. November" by The National. From their album Alligator.
Can't just keep sticking the word Mr. in front of people.
But his whole kind of his letter that he posted on Truth Social to all of the different countries with loads of like capitalized letters and stuff.
Rightly so.
And contravening a lot of I think the Korean one literally. I mean, there's debate as to whether it's unconstitutional to not allow the Senate to get involved in tariff wavering anyway or waiving. But apparently the Korean thing is completely against an agreement that George Bush had in place with them and stuff. So all this stuff they can't legally do anyway. So it's just a lot.
Tell Mr. Korea to shut up. That's what I say. Mr. Korea, Mr. Japan, shut up and
get
eat
me
your
my
tariffs.
Mr. KFC for crying out loud.
Oh god, we got a story this week from Dino and Ria from Croatia. Dino, or is it Dino? It's spelled D-I-N-O. I like Dino, especially as Jurassic Park's out. But we'll say Dino. Hello, Chris and Pete. We just got back from a 3-week trip to Japan and absolutely loved every second of it. But there's one bizarre interaction that left us completely puzzled, and we thought that you might have some insight. While we were in Osaka, around noon, we were crossing the street behind 2 Japanese women when we suddenly heard a piece of jewellery clang onto the road. A friend of ours quickly picked it up and approached the first woman to ask if it might be hers. She quietly said no, so we hurried over to the second woman to try and return it to her. She mumbled something in Japanese, took the bracelet from his hand, and without hesitation tossed it into the road and towards oncoming cars. We all stood speechless, trying to process what had just happened. We've been wondering ever since, did she misunderstand and think we were trying to sell her something? Or is there some sort of cultural context we're missing? The reaction was unexpected and out of the blue. We still can't wrap our heads around what happened. Cheers, Dino, and Ria from Croatia. Dino. Please let me know how you say it. Dino. That is probably quite odd. They probably thought you were giving them something. It reminds me of... I was in Roppongi once and I saw 2 white foreigners just handing out flags to passers-by, mostly Japanese. And they were Japanese flags. And they'd put them in their hand, and the Japanese person would be like, "Oh, it's the flag of Japan." And they'd be like, "Yeah, money." And maybe they thought it was that. That's the only thing I could think of.
I mean, I think when mad cultural shit is happening all over the place when you visit Japan, possibly for the first time, you can attribute way too much meaning to people being a bit mad. I remember, when I first went to Japan, a lot of, in Shibuya, there's a lot of hairdressing sort of salons and training facilities for people who cut hair. And so at the end of a busy sort of week, you can have these clear plastic bags filled with these heads, with hair that had been chopped off. These little kind of little statues, little fake heads.
Fucking Hannibal Lecter's jam jars.
Yeah, and a couple of lads were playing a game of football with one of them. And you sort of go, oh yes, the haircut football men, the head kickers of Tokyo. You can't sort of attribute so much meaning to it. It's just people being a bit silly, really.
Yeah, that is quite unusual, dare I say. I I don't know really. What do you think happened here?
I think maybe the person was a bit kooky and thought that it was bad luck to take jewellery that it was belonging to someone else, like a cursed wedding ring or something. Maybe I don't know why.
I did have something like this happen though. Actually, think about it. Like it must have been 2 months ago. I was in Sendai. I was in the toilet. I was queuing up for the bathrooms in the train station. Guy came out of the cubicle. As I was walking in, I saw a bag like there in the cubicle and thought, oh, he must have left it. And I sort of said to him, oh, you left your bag in the cubicle. And he sort of looked at me without looking in the cubicle and was like, he said to me, you should go to the lost property office. I was like, no, but your bag is in the cubicle. And he was like, don't worry, it's Japan. And then he walked off. And I was like, what the fuck just happened here? What happened in this interaction?
You just met Mr. Japan.
And he went, I am Mr. Japan. I forget
Japan.
nothing. It was really weird, man.
Wow.
He clearly forgot his own thing. And I was like, it's literally in there. And he was like, he just wouldn't look at it. He just sort of looked at me. I think he was sort of confused that this white guy was in the toilet at Sendai Station talking to him. Which can happen, I remember reading like cultural books about Japan before I got here. It's like, don't be surprised if Japanese people are visibly shocked to interact with you. And it's fucking true. It does happen in the countryside, not in Tokyo, but out in the sort of more rural areas. It does sort of catch them off guard because it doesn't happen very often.
Did you have a top on? Because I just think if you're luring a man back into a cubicle, I just think it might be. You might. Don't worry, it's Japan. That sort of thing doesn't go on in cubicles.
He said it was such. He was like, "Don't worry, it's Japan.
Don't worry,
it'll be fine." I'm like, okay, well, you'll be collecting your bag from there in 3 hours, mate. It was very odd. It was a little bit rude and odd. He seemed like I was bothering him, even though he had forgotten his own bag. And I'm pretty sure it was his own bag because I saw him. People might think, oh, he was already in there, somebody else forgot it. But I think I'm pretty certain I saw him walk in there with his bag and leave it. I just sort of...
Foiled a ricin attack there. Did you take it to lost property? That's the question?
No, because I figured... And this is quite common as well in Japan, certainly in toilets and shops and places. People just leave stuff. I've left my phone in a cubicle once, gone back half an hour later, and it was still there in a busy toilet. So, anyway, enough about this returning lost items nonsense. You could write a whole fucking book on it. The art of losing things in Japan and getting them back without being stolen, which is a rare event, unfortunately, for the rest of the world. But rich people are coming to Japan, and it's not just from any country. It's from China. What's going on, Pete? What's this news?
Rich people from China, Chinese millionaires et al., are flocking to Japan. Apparently, according to the Henley Private Wealth Migration Report 2024, released this year, Japan was projected to gain a net 400 millionaires, making it one of the top destinations globally for wealthy migrants. They're not migrants, are they? They're expats, aren't they, rich people? China's, obviously, a lot of wealthy Chinese have are dealing with, obviously, political crackdowns, pandemic lockdowns, and an economically cloudy picture. I think in Japan, and Japan offers like a little bit of home abroad, effectively. Little bit of home.
By the
calm,
lake.
Culture, comfort. Chris Broad bothering you in a toilet.
You forgot your bag.
You forgot your bag, mate.
Mr. China.
Thanks to a weak yen and Chinese characters and signage that lower barriers, the Chinese are flocking to more salubrious areas in Japan. You can get easy visas for big earners. Japan hands out business management and skilled specialist visas for positions like software engineers or execs fairly liberally. If you have the right amount of cash, you can usually get in within a year or two. And the real estate boom is real in Tokyo and Hokkaido. Really rich people are grabbing places, pied-à-terres and resort properties in Hokkaido, and the prices are going up and up. I think it's worth sort of remembering that a lot of like the high-level salespeople who sell houses in Tokyo and Hokkaido, they all speak Mandarin, and with a lot, if you're buying stuff like religious sites like temples and stuff, which you can buy, apparently you do inherit the tax-free exempt or tax-exempt status.
Yeah. Because it's a real issue in Kyoto, because a lot of temples and shrines and whatnot in Kyoto of which there are many, don't pay taxes. And then Kyoto had a pretty hefty deficit during COVID, and it became a really big issue, right? That so much of Kyoto was like, this is religious, we're not paying any tax. And I was like, why not a fucking shrine in Kyoto?
Just start a little mega church, come on.
Yeah.
Do as the Americans do.
Cheeky mega church. I saw it's a slightly different article about the same topic, and the title was Foreign Nationals' Presence in Japan Emerges as Key Issue. And literally 3 days ago I watched for the first time the Martin Scorsese film Silence, in which Catholics are thrown in a fire. And it's set in set in 17th century Japan, when Japan finally cracked down on Catholics coming over, trying to sneakily convert people to Catholicism, and then how they dealt with them in rather unpleasant manners, being nailed to crosses and left in the sea, and being scalded with fiery ash from the aforementioned Mount Unzen. And I saw this headline, Foreign Nationals' Presence Emerges as Key Issue, and I'm like, not Silence again, no.
It's a volcano of foreigners.
Bothering people in toilets about lost luggage, there are some issues. There's no doubt wealthy foreign folks coming in, buying lots of real estate, could be pricing out locals. That's certainly
what the story in most major metropolitan areas, isn't it? It's like the Chinese are buying up all the properties, not living in them. The Russians, it's the usual kind of stuff, I suppose.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. I worry that as the situation grows more dire economically in Japan, and things get worse, you got to direct the anger at someone. And it's always, as we see across the world, it's always like, it's the foreigners.
The Chinese.
A cheeky scapegoat, right?
Yeah.
But, I always see articles as well about Chinese investors buying up an apartment building, converting it into Airbnbs, and sneaking around lots of rules and doing some shady shit. So they're not exactly innocent entirely. I didn't know. Japan hands out these visas for people that are just rich. If you're rich, you can just come here. And
that's mostly how it works, isn't it? Unless you upset a head of state and they kick you out.
Absolutely. Or But it's all very vague what they're actually going to do in this big meeting. I saw that also he's going to set up like an action task force to oversee this, as it's such a big problem. But I don't understand, again, who it's aimed at, because Japan is bringing in hundreds of thousands of, foreign folks to fill up jobs and places that are no longer being filled by Japanese workers, like convenience stores. Nearly every convenience store in Tokyo or fast food chain outlet is being staffed by people who aren't Japanese. And if they weren't there, and I saw a comment online, it was like, this shouldn't be happening at all. We don't need all these people. Maybe not. But then what are you going to do? How all the convenience stores are going to function? Japan has this issue more dire than most other countries in terms of the population plummeting. You could have it all automated, maybe, but when I walk into convenience stores at 2 a.m, people are stacking the shelves furiously, the workers, and doing these like tasks that require so much time and so hard working. I don't know. You could automate stacking shelves and managing tills and inventory and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know, really. I don't know what they could do there.
You'd have to make all the 7-Elevens very similar, though, wouldn't you? I know they are very similar, obviously, but there's always the sort of configuration of where everything is. It's always slightly different. So you'd have to make the most generic shop possible to have robots staffing these places.
Yeah. Thinking about it, what you'd want, and this is getting very technical now, is you'd walk in and there's no aisles, right? There would be no aisles. You just have a wall of all the goods. And as you take it out, another one slips into place because it's all back-ended around the backside of the...
Chris.
Kind of like you have with the...
We're talking about vending machines. We've invented the vending machines, haven't we? Yeah.
Mega vending machine, convenience store. Make it happen.
I'm always sort of astounded when you go to America, they have those kind of fridges that have two doors. So it's like, you have the door where you get the products and then you have the door behind where the products get stocked from behind. And I find that whole world of, it's like the people who live behind in the bowling alley machines. I'm like, what's going on in there? Well, there's a man in there and he's stocking everything from behind so he doesn't have to open the things. And it's scary. I don't like it.
Absolutely. Make it happen. I mean, that's it. Done. Like all good Japan podcasts, we've started talking about lost items and vending machines in rapid succession.
People love vending machines, Chris. Let's make more of them.
But, I suppose foreign workers and foreign tourists, it's the presence of foreigners in general has risen exponentially over the last decade and a half. It's going to... It's there. Get rid of ban them. Shut the doors. Just get rid of them all. Ban the foreigners. Everywhere. That's what I say. I don't know. I don't know what they could do. But they should clamp down on... people coming in and swooping in from overseas who've never been here before and buying up loads of stuff, maybe, and putting in some more procedures in place.
You imagine if one country will do it, it will be Japan, because they are quite sort of worried about foreigners, aren't they?
I do think more examples should be made of foreigners doing bad things in Japan, though. Like that girl who did the pull-ups on the Torii Gate, or the guy who recently trashed a shrine, or people terrorising locals. I was still amazed Johnny Somali got off scot-free, essentially. Like, all the awful shit he did, Did
he get chucked out in the end? Did we have a Johnny Somali update?
He did, didn't he? He did get arrested eventually. Then they let him off. Then he went to Korea. He went to see Mr. Korea. He did it all over again. And then Korea was like, how about... fuck off, and then they arrested him, and he's been in prison ever since. And every week there's a new headline about.
So I guess he didn't get off scot-free in the end, but he's still so he's pled guilty to multiple charges. One of his alleged victims has now submitted a formal petition to the court requesting the maximum sentence allowable under South Korean law.
Hell yeah.
It's rather a serious turn in the case, apparently. There's a petition that seeks the maximum monthly sentence. And wow, I mean, wow. It's apparently these sort of petitions are viewed as the public having a vested interest in seeing a particular perpetrator of an act sent down quite hard. So he's in a lot of trouble.
Poor old Johnny. If only there was some way he could have seen what his actions might lead to. If only. What a prick. But I will say, I suppose one issue with China is there was just a lot of people. 1.3 billion people, and so it is a big issue if they're all just coming to Japan and throwing money at things. And this is some crazy statistics here. Like one Tokyo high-rise, 1/3 of its units are owned by Chinese individuals or companies, and values have already jumped 10 to 15% in 1 year. Similarly, Hokkaido's Furano region, the beautiful area with the rolling fields, land prices have gone up 28% as wealthy Chinese tourists have snapped up all the vacation homes. So I guess it is an issue. It is not just millionaires in China. It's the fact when you've got a country with 1.3 billion people down the road snapping up all your property. It could be Charles is from Victoria, British Columbia in Canada, and they've got a similar issue there as well. So
it's like the British rich people going to the south of France, isn't it? Buying up all the property there.
That's even worse. Yeah,
that's even worse.
Even worse. Filth. But we're back in a moment, guys. Your stories, comments, and questions over in the fax machine.
Wow.
Now we're back with the fax machine. What do we got this week from our listeners? Mr. Donaldson, fill us in.
Got a message from Tom. Hi guys, I am excited to be moving to Tokyo soon with my family, but we will be landing in spicy August. Any recommendations for low-key weekend retreats for us to escape the heat? I don't want anything too fancy or touristy. Perhaps somewhere on the coast or at altitude with an easy train ride. All the best, Tom. Where can Tom go for some respite from the heat?
Lost Bar. It's so nice. it's so good. Swinging back the old capsule gachapon door. And the aircon blast hits you in the face after stumbling around Shibuya aimlessly.
Are you still doing sake season in Lost Bar?
Yeah, we are. It's nice. I'm going there tomorrow to drink lots of things. So if you're there, see you there, Tom.
Beautiful.
Honestly, there's no real answer to this. I spend most of my time in my house or in my apartment, in my studio or at Lost Bar. Each of those has air conditioning. Each of those, one of those is accessible to you. But I'd be careful out there, though. There's a lot of heat stroke warnings going around at the moment, as you'd expect. Go to Hokkaido. Go to Furano. Go look at the houses getting bought by all the Chinese. Thomas says, hello, Chris and Pete. My partner and I are both learning Japanese ahead of relocating to Tokyo next year for work. It's a tough language, though, and progress is slow, but very rewarding. Chris, we've been enjoying your book and wondered what translations are available. 10 points if there's Polish or Japanese. All the best to you guys. Pete, how's your Japanese coming along? Thanks for the podcast, Thomas. Pete, how's your Japanese coming along?
Don't stick that in at the end, for crying out loud. I've not touched it for years, to be quite frank. I've got near you. I'm barely learning English, one would suggest. I'm going backwards. I'm calling people Mr. Japan and stuff like that. I've gone absolutely wrong.
I just want to rebrand the podcast to Mr. Japan.
Mr. Japan.
In Japan or some shit.
Mr. Japan's new vending machine.
I did come here to plug my book, Thomas, but it is available in German, Dutch, Polish, I think Spanish as well, and more.
Ooh.
But it's in Polish. It's doing well. And finally, John and Sean, how do you pronounce that, Pete?
Ooh. It's one of those presumably Irish names that
Sean.
It's got to be Sean, isn't it? It's got to be Sean.
Sean. Hello, Pete and Chris. My husband John and I are visiting Japan for the first time in October this year, something we have both dreamed of for many years. We're spending the first 4 days staying in the Tokyo Station area and the next 2 at an onsen ryokan in Shuzenji, in Izu. The next 7 days, however, we keep changing our minds about where to go. As much as Kyoto and Osaka are the big bad names, we're not keen on overcrowded places. Instead, we thought about visiting Kyushu, but we're also drawn to places like Ishikawa and Gifu. Where would you go for a couple of over 50s, one of whom has minor mobility issues? Thanks, guys. I'd go to Takayama, get the old train, ride it into Takayama, the old mountain town, and then keep riding the train to Ishikawa, to Kanazawa, have a stumble around there. All beautiful places, all far less crowded than Kyoto and Osaka. I would personally much rather go there as well. There's something like, fucking Takayama, you get off the train, and you just got these little streams, and there's like fish swimming in them. You've got the mountains behind you with mist on. You've got like a wooden facade of the old buildings. You've got sake tasting and skewers of Wagyu in the streets. It's amazing. And Pete Dawson hasn't been there.
No, I haven't been there. I was just tapping away on my keyboard there. I forgot to mute myself, so apologies everyone. Because I was trying to remember what the sand dunes were. Totori sand dunes. Just go there. Have a roll around on the sand. I don't know why. I'm in a real mood for going to a sand dune and just rolling down it. Absolutely lovely stuff.
You're a madman. It's okay. I mean, Totori, the main appeal for me is the sand dunes were cool. They were cool. I had a lot of fun trying to frame it and make it look like an actual desert that Natsuki was in, and that's fun. So if you've got Natsuki, drag him there.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a lot of effort.
Do you remember that woman who got was she in Tokyo or was she in Osaka? She got basically a taxi that cost like 500 quid to go to the Totori sand dunes. Was it more than that, right?
Cost 500 quid to go from like fucking Shibuya to Shinjuku. It was like $5,000. I was like $5,000.
Oh my god!
Oh, it's crazy,
that's absolutely wild.
And then the taxi, they got in drunk, didn't they, in Yokohama? And they were like, "Take me to Totori," and the driver was like, "Okay," and for some reason did it.
A day.
Got there. It must have taken 8 to 9 hours, probably more actually. And then they got out the cab and went. And the driver went, "It's $5,000," and the woman went, "Nah." That was it.
I'm gonna hide and just started digging a hole in the sand dunes. Bye.
Oh God. Oh Lord. Be careful.
Taxi drivers wouldn't go south of the river 10 years ago in London. Never mind the Totori sand dunes. Unbelievable.
Jesus. I wonder what that driver did after they got there. Do you think he just sat on the dune and went, "What am I doing with my life? I fucked it. Why did I agree to this?
My wife's gonna kill me. She says I'm too trusting."
What a story, though. Yes, he got out of pocket by a bit of money. Although, to be fair, as a driver, he lost some money that he would have made, but he got to have a lovely road trip. And
he got to go,
doesn't cost $5,000 to get to Tottori, you know. That's just the cab meter, so, you know.
With a drunk, farting, puking lady. Brilliant.
Covered in shit. Yeah, oh, God, I need to end this now. That image will be in my... Keep the stories, questions, comments coming into abroadjapanpodcast@gmail.com or right away in the comments below. But for now, guys, have yourself a great few days, and we'll see you right back here to drink some Kilimanjaro coffee once more. Bye for now.
Kill a man for his gyro today. Do you know that Pete Doherty song? Rubbish.